Yes, good afternoon. Thank you very much, Roman, for your kindly introduction. My name is Christian Bock and I'm from Landwirtschaftliche here, Rentenbank. Yes, in Frankfurt am Main. Rentenbank is a German promotional bank for the agricultural sector and rural areas, and I'm responsible for the promotional business division. So my business normally is 100% in Germany, and my business language is 100% German. So we see it. As a promotional bank, Rentenbank grants loan with low interest loans to agriculture, including horticulture, viticulture, forestry, to agribusiness companies like, for example, mills and dairies, as well as to aquaculture companies, via other banks and saving banks to these ultimate borrowers. So we have no directly business to these borrowers. We also finance investments in renewable energies and such as onshore wind power plants, photovoltaic, and biogas, and as well infrastructure investments in rural areas. We are one of the largest banks in Germany with a total assets of around 100 billion euro, but with less than 400 employees, we are rather a small company. Many people don't know us, and let me say, which is sometimes better when you are a bank. We also focus on financing innovations in agriculture and on financing agtech and foodtech startups. Here we provide grants to these innovative projects and subordinated loans to the startups. Since 2022, February, we have also been investing in venture capital funds as part of our mandate as promotional bank. The ECBF was our first investment, and I hope that many more will follow. What's the next? Sorry. For many years, one focus of our task has been the promotion of renewable raw materials from agriculture. Today, we would say bioeconomy. The role of renewable raw materials has changed recently. In the past, renewable raw materials were pushed onto the market as a political measure and as support for agriculture, not for climate or environmental protection reasons. There were many approaches, such as using plant fibers as an insulating material for the car industry. In many cases, however, there was no demand from industry and thus no working market. The first biofuels approaches in Germany were also driven by agricultural policy. Instead of setting aside arable land, it was to be used to grow rapeseed, for example, which would then be processed into biodiesel. This path was expanded in the early 2000s, and the topic of bioenergy came into production of biogas. It came into the focus. The production of bioethanol from sugar beets, for example, and the production of biogas have brought climate protection and agricultural policy together. However, bioenergy doesn't work without government regulation, which means that the Renewable Energy Act and other acts replace a free market here. The current challenges, climate protection, reduction in the use of fossil raw materials, and food security, offer entirely new opportunities for the bioeconomy and therefore for agriculture. Renewable raw materials are no longer seen as a promoted support for agriculture, but as climate and environmental protection measures. The European Green Deal, with its targets like the decoupling of economic growth from resource use, reinforces this trend. The current trend is that renewable raw materials are being pulled from industry onto market. The industry needs the materials for the new sustainable course of action, so the demand has increased and will increase more, I hope. It puts the bioeconomy in the spotlight, which connects the demand and the supply side. But care must be taken to avoid conflict goals, such as the global hunger, as much as possible. Biogas and biofuels are likely to be replaced in the future by other renewable energies, and plant-based diet moves into focus, so other field crops will be cultivated, like more lupins, whatever. And the ultimate goal is to achieve a net zero emissions by 2050, and the bioeconomy can play a major role in this. In response to the targeted goals, Germany set up a national bioeconomy strategy. It includes 4 main points. The first one is the sustainable use of natural resources and reduced use of fossil raw materials. We must replace fossil resources with regenerative raw materials and energies. The environment and the climate are also to be protected. Our future economy will only succeed in harmony with the nature, we heard it. So the economic growth should be ecologically compatible. However, these goals must not come at the expense of food security, as crops for food production and for biomass production compete with each other. Agriculture plays a key role in the bioeconomy. The plant biomass produced in agriculture is a fundament of the bioeconomy. Plants not only serve as a basis for food, but can also be used for material and energy purposes. However, the arable land is limited, so the efficiency of biomass production and use must be increased while avoiding negative external effects. This can be achieved through a circular use of the biomass. Biomass should be used as long as efficiently and used as frequently as possible. At the end of the cycle, when the material can't be recycled, there is a thermal recycling or composting. The cycle is closed when the nutrients are returned to agriculture and the end of the recycling process. As Rentenbank, we have a focus on agriculture in Germany. That is our mission. We want to support farmers in this transformation process in the coming years, and it's particularly important that not only a transformation of the food industry and other industry by the bioeconomy happens, but also that value creation and income in agriculture and rural areas are maintained. This is also an important point for our society, for our policy, so that rural areas are not left behind economically. The development of new business models, also by startups, is therefore a major challenge. What role can AgTech and FoodTech startups play along the way here? What set them apart from other startups? Compared to other startups in Germany, the topic of sustainability is of particular importance for AgTech and FoodTech startups. The yellow bars stands for the agriculture and FoodTech scene, and the green one is the total DSM from the Deutscher Startup Monitor from last year. You can say the 3 characteristics, personality, industry expertise, and network are all more or less equally high important for investors. A greater difference can be seen in sustainability. Compared to other startups, the sustainability of AgTech and FoodTech startups is particularly important to the investors. Also, investments in conventional agriculture are often considered unsustainable. It shows that sustainability plays a major role in investment in this agricultural sector. But startups with a stronger focus on sustainability, especially in agriculture, I think, often need more time and more money to develop their business models. More growth capital is needed to transform our economy. Bioeconomy is the next global transformation wave. As I mentioned before, the economy will move away from using fossil resources toward a bio-based approach. At this point, agriculture is a key to achieve the bioeconomy transformation. But AgTech founders often lack the necessary growth capital to scale up their solution internationally. So the availability of growth capital in AgTech related bioeconomy has to increase. Further initiatives like ECBF are needed in response to that. Rentenbank will scale up its activities and invest in further funds. Thank you very much for your attention.